So, hi guys, my name is Taylor. Thank you so much for joining us. This week we're reacting to sexual things and we're all asexuals, so you know, fun, bra strap. So, this week I thought I'd react to a couple of fan fictions. So I tweeted out, I'm reacting to cringy YouTuber fanfic. Do you guys have any suggestions? And this one got the most likes, which was Joe Suck Part 2. Dirty YouTuber fanfic on hold, sorry. I don't know who that is, so I guess we'll have to see how cringy this is for me. When you got there, you felt a little overwhelmed. I mean, the cutest YouTuber ever had invited you to his house. He gave you a short little tour before sitting next to you on the couch and putting... he gave you a short little tour before sitting next to you on the couch and putting on some romantic movie? Everything he had shown you around his house was totally recognizable from all his blogs and stuff. That's really creepy. Except for the door you have never seen in the vlog. Halfway through the movie, the two star-crossed lovers in the film started making out. Joe pretended to yawn and stretch and put his arm around you, the oldest trick in the book. I read pretty much not half, but I read like the next 4 paragraphs, and the fact that it's written in like second person freaks me out. Like, this is not happening to me. I'm getting claustrophobic because I like literally jumped. I have no clue who this kid is, but apparently he's the sexiest YouTuber, so, or I did say one of the sexiest YouTubers. So, out of the corner of your eye, saw the characters in the movie were getting heated too. Okay, but you're watching the movie, so why would you see that out of the corner of your eye? Like, the screen is here, and I'm like, no, like, I'm watching a movie. Why would I not look at the screen? I don't know. I don't get sexual people. Okay, but the part that made me wince was, you shut your eyes slowly as he pulled you closer to him. I can't do this. It's too many yous, your, no, it's not me. I'm not doing this. I have no clue who this person is, but I'm gonna find one that's not written in second person that I can actually get through, so it's fine. A Zalfie fanfic. Who's that? Everyone has Zalfie smut, and I don't know who that is. I guess I'm gonna end on this one that someone sent in. Aww, it really is fanfic. Rating G. Oh, I can do this. I can handle this. This fanfic was inspired by the okay, I don't care. Creeper. Phil hunches his shoulders a bit, not exactly hiding behind the pillar, just standing. Where is he? Why is he hunching? Really close to the pillar. And maybe a little behind it. Just a bit. I need my glasses. But definitely not hiding. Definitely not hiding like some creeper. Ha! If this was Cinema Sins, you'd get a sin for that. Waiting to meet a teenage boy he met on the internet. Creepy. He's never done this before, actually arranging to meet one of his subscribers in real life. Dan has become more than just a subscriber to him for the past few months, of course, but he can't deny that the friendship, began with Dan stalking his videos and hounding him on Twitter like so many other subscribers had done. Phil had plenty of admirers and the subscriber base grew over the years, and a lot of them flirted with him. Some outright propositioned him, but he was never tempted to take any of them up on their offers. It's just, Dan is different. But Phil can't deny the power imbalance. He knows he's a well-known personality, even if only in a limited little sphere of the internet. His YouTube channel has thousands of subscribers. Okay, tens of thousands. Oh, this is old. He gets fan mail, lots of it. Weird as it sounds to him sometimes, he has fans, and Dan is one of them. He's only 18. And Phil, amazing Phil from the internet, has invited this teenage fan to come stay at his house. Isn't the age of consent like pretty low in England? I don't actually know. But 18 is definitely a legalized adult in most of the world. So yeah, it sounds creepy. Which makes him incredibly self-conscious. What in the world do Dan's parents think about this? Phil hasn't asked because he doesn't want to mess this up. Because despite the power imbalance, he's really excited and nervous to meet Dan. Because while he may be YouTube's amazing Phil, Dan is amazing. Their Skype calls have gotten flirtier and flirtier these past weeks. These past few weeks. Dan has always been a tease right from the start. He knows how gorgeous he is. Purposely posts self with his neck arched just so, his eyelids lowered as if he was begging for someone to grab him by the hips. And wait, I don't get it. But he's 18. Phil keeps reminding himself of that. Okay, so maybe some of their Skype calls have gotten a bit racy. Maybe Dan has been a bit provocative. Maybe they've talked a bit about things that could happen this weekend, but Phil doesn't want to push him. After all, Dan has decided that Phil Lester isn't as exciting Phil. He might not be so interested when he sees Phil without the camera lens between them, and that's what makes him most nervous, because he really tried not to get emotionally invested in this whole thing with Dan, but somehow it happened anyway. Somewhere along the way, he started really liking the smart, brash, outspoken, sarcastic, funny kid. They haven't even met yet, and Phil just desperately wants Dan to like him. Blah, 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 blah. He's 22 years old and he has a crush on this boy. Dan's train begins pulling into the station and sets Phil's heart rate racing. It pulls to a stop, then the doors open. People are beginning to stream out onto the platform. One of them is going to be Dan. Phil steals his nerve and takes steps away from the protective pillar, making himself a bit more visible. He wore one of his brightest, most colorful shirts so that he would be easier to spot in the crowd. He chews on his lips, his eyes flitting anxiously across faces around. Fingers tangle nervously into the hem of his shirt, twisting and pulling at the fabric. And then suddenly Dan is there, standing right in front of him, a messenger bag slung across his body and a duffel bag in his hand. His hair isn't quite as dark as Phil had thought it would be. It's a light brown, highlights visible in the sun streaming through the train station windows. His eyes are even more beautiful than Phil had imagined. Their color far more vivid than the word brown could ever convey, more than Skype could ever do justice to. That's cute. Phil realizes he's been staring and not saying anything. He stammers out, Dan, it's you. You're here. I can't do a British accent, so I'm not going to try. And then he belated opened his arms for a hug, as he always does when greeting someone, even just random fans who recognize him on the streets get warm Phil hugs. But Dan hesitates, which makes Phil's stomach clench. Dan lowers his eyes, looking down at his feet, then leans in for an awkward one-arm hug. Oh, Phil doesn't hug as warmly as he usually would, or as long as he wants to, because he can tell that Dan is uncomfortable. It's like Phil's worst nightmare. He was right. Dan is disappointed. Oh, he lets Dan go and steps away to make sure he isn't crowding the boy and freaking him out. He's feeling more like a creepy internet predator now. Because it sort of seems like Dan doesn't want to be here, and Dan isn't saying anything, which only makes it worse. Phil begins awkwardly. How was the train? He stretches his hand towards Dan's duffel bag, but Dan ignores the silent offer, clenching the straps tight, so tightly his knuckles are white. Is that possible? Dan scuffs his shoe against the ground and looks away, reaching up to scratch the back of his neck and shrugging. It's alright, I guess. And then he doesn't say anything more, still not meeting Phil's eyes. Phil rapidly adjusts his expectations for the weekend. Maybe Dan won't ever want to stay tonight. Maybe he'll just catch the train home instead, but okay, I'm skipping this. Okay, this is so surreal, Dan mutters to himself. What's surreal? Phil asks. Just glad that Dan has initiated the conversation topic. Dan looks at him properly, but still not quite meeting his eyes, and says wonderfully, I'm sitting at Starbucks with amazing Phil. Phil immediately replies, you're sitting at Starbucks with your friend Phil from Skype. Dan meets his eyes now and they smile properly for the first time since he stood in front of Phil on the train station platform. Dimples appear in his cheeks, flame bursts out. God, you're even prettier in person. Then he blushes, afraid that he's gone too far and that he'll scare Dan off. Dan's smile widens and ducks his head down, seeming embarrassed. He's staring fixed into the macchiato when he says quietly, "Your eyes are nicer than I thought." He glances up through his lashes. Phil begins to wonder if he's been misreading Dan. He's young, he's meeting someone, a guy he's been flirting with pretty outrageously in person for the first time. Maybe he's just nervous, shy. He decides to take a chance. "I've been really nervous to meeting you." Dan's head comes up and his eyes widen. "Really? Why?" Phil shrugs awkwardly. "Because I like you and I wasn't sure if you were gonna like me." Dan's mouth drops open slightly and then he stammers, "I was worried about the same thing." Phil laughs with relief. "Can we start this all over again?" "Yeah," and then they just restart and it ends with, "I'm really glad to meet you, Dan Howell," Phil says. "I'm really glad to meet you, Phil Lester," Dan replies. And then they take a sip of the matching drinks and smile with the steam rising from their mugs. Starbucks in England has actual mugs. I mean, the Starbucks I worked in, we had mugs, but no one ever used them because everybody wanted to draw on their cups. That's not the point of the story. So yeah, that was me reacting to some fanfics, and yeah, I don't feel any different. Some of them were very cringy for me. I couldn't get through quite a few of them. So that was that. I don't know if I reacted well enough. It was more of like I'm reading this to you and doing a live reaction. So I've never read any of these before, so what I did was how I felt in the moment. Oh, let's look up that other guy that I have no clue who that is. What was his name? Joe Biden. Oh, Rogan, Biden, Walsh. Started with an S. Oh, this one. Oh, he's cute, I guess. He's really thin. Subscribe. Watch the other videos from this week. And next week, or in 2 weeks, we're going to be doing another Q&A, so ask questions. Questions are good. Questions are the answers of tomorrow? Yeah, I don't know. But thanks for watching. Bye!